worship before Yahweh is not so much a reflection of the attitude and desire of showing love from our heart, as much as it is our understanding of the face of Yah and our reflection of Him and the acts of worship. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 3 of the Torah portion, Emor. Let's go to the end of Leviticus of Vayikra, chapter number 21. Begin reading in verse number 16. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aaron, saying, No man of your offspring throughout their generations who has any defect is to draw near to bring the bread of his Elohim. For any man who has a defect is not to draw near, a man blind, or one lame, or disfigured, or deformed, a man who has a broken foot, or a broken hand, or is a hunchback, or a dwarf, or a man who has a defect in his eye, or eczema, or a scab, or is a eunuch. No man among the offspring of Aaron the priest who has a defect is to come near to bring the offerings made by fire to Yahweh. He has a defect. He does not come near to bring the bread of his Elohim. He does eat of the bread of his Elohim, both the most set apart and the set apart. Only he does not go near the veil or approach the slaughter place because he has a defect, lest he profanes my set apart place. For I am Yahweh who sets them set apart. This kind of list does not sit well, does not fly well, does not do well in the hearing of our modern ears, where anyone who is called a hunchback, that's just offensive language. To call someone a dwarf, that is offensive. And in the reading of this, those who have some disability, some wound, some listed issue here that would prevent them from coming toward the slaughter place, they would say, Yah has offended me. So we need to take this to a liberal court, and we need to adjudicate this and declare that everybody is a winner. Everybody is to be included. No one is to be excluded. There are no disabilities that would disqualify anyone from any approach of the altar. And therefore, Yah is wrong and we rule against him. I don't know that that's going to work. At first glance, it would seem that Yah is rejecting of and less loving toward and less accepting of those who have some sense of a physical disability or what would be considered an abnormality. It could even be argued among some, well, they were born this way, so therefore if Yah made them this way, he has no right to reject them. It's not so much perhaps that Yah made them this way, but rather it was the genetic code between the parents that resulted in this issue. That's a whole nother gamut of discussion that we'll leave alone for today. But let's just understand then that there are those that Yah says, you may be benefited by that which is obtained from the altar, but you may not approach the altar. How do we get away with this? How is Yah justified in this? Well, number one, Yah is not looking for our version of justification of him. Rather, we should be looking for his justification toward us. But let's go back to Bereshit, Genesis chapter number 3. Man and his wife have indulged into the fruit of the tree that Yah has forbidden to them. They are now standing in a realm of the unclean. They are in a sinful situation. And Yah has told them, in the day that you sin, you're going to die. And so now they have a death sentence held over them. Matter of fact, any resulting offspring between man and his wife is going to also incur this death penalty. So what do? How do we ever get out of this? Can we ever get out of this? And there is promised to them one who would come and break the curse breaker. We're talking about the Mashiach, the Messiah, the one who comes and stomps and crushes the head of the serpent who deceived and lied to them. The Torah, before it is anything else, is a book of the revelation of the Messiah. Now, the last book in our Bibles is the book of Revelation, and if you read the full title, it is the book of the revelation of Yeshua, the Messiah, or the King James says of Jesus Christ. Can I tell you that the whole book, not just the last book, but the whole book, especially the Torah, is given to us to reveal the quality, the character, the perfection, the glory, the truth of the Messiah. It is all about Yeshua. He's in every page and in every situation. He's in these verses. If we go to Malachi chapter number 1, Yah says to the Levites, you've been bringing animals to my altar with broken legs or with some sort of malady. They're sick, they're blind, they're crippled, and you expect me to accept them. If you were to take these as taxes to your governor or your sovereign, would he accept them? No. Then why do you think I want them? Well, an animal is an animal, and an animal's blood is just animal's blood. But Yah says over and again that when the animals are selected to be brought and placed upon his altar for animal sacrifice, they must be perfect ones without a blemish. The Pesach lamb was taken into a family's home for 4 days, and they examined this lamb 4 days to be sure that there were not some marks or blemishes or some sort of defects in the animal before they slaughtered the animal to eat as the Passover meal. Likewise, Yeshua was in Jerusalem being tested and tried, verbally assaulted almost by the scribes and Pharisees trying to trick him up for the 4 days before Pesach. And then it would seem that Pontius Pilate rendered the verdict when he decreed over Yeshua, I find no fault in him. That is not by mistake. That is on purpose. The animal that we present, the offering that we bring, reflects the heart that we have toward Yah, but it also reflects our attitude as to who we think he is and how perfect that he might be. We find that in Bereshit chapter number 4, that Cain and Abel are presenting their offerings. Abel or Havel brought what was the fatling of his firstborn of his flock, a wonderful, pricely, choice gift to the altar, and Cain just brought some of the fruit from his ground. He was rejected because attitude was important at the altar. And so when one comes to the altar and is serving the altar, those who serve the altar also reflect the altar, which is the reflection of the face of Yeshua and his perfection. The word that is used here for defect is the Hebrew word mum. We would spell it M-O-O-M. The Hebrew is mem, vav, final mem. Mem means waters. So you have waters. A vav is the nail that attaches or secures or connects. And then we have the final mem, which is an additional body of waters. What we're seeing here then is the waters above the realm of the Spirit, Genesis chapter 1, that is above, is connected and attached to the waters that are below the physical realm here. That's the function of a priest. And one who has a defect is one who fails to accomplish that. Yah's not rejecting us for our problems and our issues, but he is rightly presenting the face of Yeshua so we can see him and be delivered. We'll talk more tomorrow. Till then, shalom.